In this section, we'll demonstrate the process of transplanting seedlings from the flats to the beds. We'll explain when the seedlings are ready to be transplanted, the tools you'll need and how and when to use them, the delicate process of removing seedlings from the flats, how to plant the seedlings using the offset spacing method, when and how to water the seedlings once they've been transplanted, and the benefits of creating a microclimate in your garden bed. First, John shows Tim some seedling flats of celery that will soon be ready for transplanting.
And then after they were up about 2 to 3 inches tall, we pricked them out into the 6-inch deep flat.
So this makes sense to me as far as why they're here deeper, but is there a benefit to having them 6 inches deep before we put them into the bed?
Yes, and we actually don't want the roots to quite be 6 inches deep, because if they hit the bottom again, they'll send that message and they'll go to seed. So just before that happens, when they're about 6 to 9 inches tall on the top, we'll transplant them into the bed. And the reason we want them this large is that they may then mature fully for harvesting in as little as 1 month instead of 2 to 4 months.
1 month?
As little as.
Wow.
So you can imagine if you needed that for food and nutrition, or if you needed it for income, you can use 1 to 2 months of bedtime, or you can have 2 to 4 months of bedtime. So
Fantastic.
which do you want? You want to free up your bed for more food and more income.
Wonderful.
Although these celery seedlings aren't quite ready to be transplanted,
It's beautiful.
John has 4 compost crops that are.
On our way to the compost crops.
Yeah.
This winter, in order to grow food for the soil and ourselves, we're going to put in 4 compost crops, 2 legumes, fava beans and vetch, and 2 grains, triticale and cereal rye.
You can plant more than 1 crop in a single bed. But no matter what you're planting, the process of transplanting seedlings requires mastery of the offset spacing technique. With offset spacing, the center of each seedling is carefully measured to make sure there is an equal distance between any 2 plants. In a square planted bed, seedlings on the diagonal are farther apart than those adjacent. By offsetting alternate rows using this technique, all the seedlings are equally spaced. Now Tim shows us what it takes to get seedlings out of the flats and into the ground. He'll use a digging board to avoid damaging the soil as he works. The hand fork helps to gently remove the seedlings from the flats. And an appropriate sized trowel is used to make a hole for each seedling. A simple measuring stick of specified length helps to space and place each seedling. Now we're ready to transplant. Tim loosens the soil in the flat with a hand fork before carefully removing several seedlings. You may need to shake excess dirt from the roots so that the seedling will fit into the hole. In some cases, you may need to gently twist the ends of very long roots before planting. With seedling in hand, Tim shows us where and how to place it.
So we're continuing what's already been laid out, which is this 5-inch center spacing. Our next row will start right there. That's where this plant's going to go.
Tim opens a hole, places in the seedling, and sweeps the soil back into the hole. When we plant using the offset spacing method, we can get about 10% more plants to a bed. The soil should remain loose around the newly placed plant. Water will settle the soil around its roots. Simply insert the trowel at an angle, lift toward you, open the hole, drop in the seedling, and then sweep the soil into the hole with the back of the trowel. This basic technique is used regardless of the size of the seedlings. But when transplanting larger plants, you'll need a bigger trowel and measuring stick. You'll water the newly transplanted seedlings once or twice a day depending on your weather and soil. Using a watering fan attached to a hose, aim it upwards to create a gentle rain that will not compact the soil or damage the plants. And because the edges of the bed dry out more quickly, you should give them 2 to 3 times more water. The best time to water is about 2 hours before sunset, but some plants may benefit from a midday watering as well. The offset spacing we have used in our newly planted beds will help to keep the soil moist when the soil becomes shaded by the plants. This creates healthier soil and plants, and as much as 2 to 6 times the yield, all while using less land, less water, and less time.